Now it's time to prank call Kyle Webster.
All right, let's see if this works. It says I'm connected. Oh, there we go.
That's loud.
Hello.
It's the Kyle Webster Show. Caller, what is your name?
Oh, man, you got yourself Kyle Webster.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
What are you guys up to?
Oh, not much. Just
Typical Thursday night.
we missed you. We thought we'd prank call you.
We miss you.
Man. Wow, so we're live right now. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, who'd you sign with this week, Kyle?
Yeah, tell us about your off season.
That's awesome.
That's me.
That was me.
Okay, so
Sorry.
y'all are awesome.
Have you been keeping track kind of the moves? Some of the contracts have been expiring. Some players are moving around.
You know, I've seen some posts. I know there's a handful of lower level guys that are up in the air this year. A lot of people have those 1 year, 2 year contracts.
A couple ladies too.
Guys. Yeah, exactly.
Katrina
Yeah,
Allen had a 1 year with DGA.
Haley King.
Haley King 1 year with Innova.
Right. So it's an exciting time. Yeah, those big name women. I haven't seen if they've committed to anybody at all. And honestly, I haven't seen any commitment outside of the Nikko Locastro Lonestar disc announcement.
Oh, that's interesting. You bring that up. Didn't Chandler Kramer sign a big deal with Lonestar? He was their main player, and then they immediately grabbed Nikko. So now he's the second fiddle.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Sometimes Nikko will come in and take the spotlight. You know.
Yeah, that's actually something you know a little bit about, is it not?
Yeah, no. To be completely honest, for sure. Yeah, when I was at Westside, I was their big name at the time. Definitely wasn't the highest rated player on tour. Wasn't killer on tour, but as Westside, I was like their front runner, name player. And then Nikko came in and changed things up the way that they started throwing money around. And he definitely ended up getting a great contract. He was able to be put on tour, and they took care of him. Whereas I didn't get as much support myself.
Aww.
And so, yeah, I wonder if Chandler, how that compares to a guy like Chandler, because he's definitely deserved. He did some things over in Europe this year. He's definitely a name on tour, and I hope
he went
they're
off
taking
this
care of
year.
him. Yeah, he really did. And a guy like him, it's great to have him on the team, on the roster, because he's a unique player. Whether he's killing it or not, he's going to be talked about because of his style when it comes to the way he looks and just the way he plays in general. And so, yeah, he's a great guy to have. And like I said, I hope Lone Star is taking care of him. And hopefully all that money isn't going to just one guy.
I do too, because you get the feeling, right, that he popped off this season. I keep saying last season. We're not done with 22 yet, but he popped off this year. It was sort of a big fish, small pond commitment. Nikko, I would be pretty upset if it were me.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we can't speak for Chandler, right?
No, but, absolutely. This is all flight farm speculation.
For sure, yeah. It's all. That's what I was telling one of my buddies. So, like, I have my opinions. At the end of the day, it's just my opinion. It's their business. They're just selling frisbees, and they're making their moves.
Well, here's the facts. Chandler can play sanction events.
Oh. Yeah.
I got it.
Oh,
that's great, dude.
That's funny.
So Chandler will definitely be a more visible person in that sense for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure when Nikko's first event will be. I haven't looked far ahead.
Las Vegas.
I haven't read it.
Yeah,
Is
Vegas.
that what it'll be?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that the 6 months? It was only a 6 month.
6 month suspension. So.
And that's. He historically does pretty well there in Utah, which is right after Vegas. You could see him have a pretty big start to the 23 season. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Utah's that early this year. That's cool.
Is it not?
So,
they jumped to Arizona then.
Yeah, usually it's Arizona.
That's what it was. I had it switched up.
But the tour is so different now. The Memorial's like falling down a peg, I guess you could say, like when it comes to the status. Because I think now it's like
last year is an A tier or something.
Yeah, it's an A. It's quotes just an A tier, but no, I think they go from Vegas and then they start planning for Waco like right after that. I don't even know if the Memorial's even in the talks anymore.
Backing up there to the Memorial, did you see the news? Ricky Wasaki, last season he sort of bought into a pro shop there, and this year he has signed a contract with Dynamic Discs. He will be Dynamic Discs. Is it Phoenix or Dynamic Discs Arizona?
I didn't see that.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw that, man.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the guy. I'm happy for him. I think that's really cool. Honestly, didn't see that coming, but after I thought about it, even just for a second, I was like, it makes total sense, and I think it's a great business move for the guy.
He's made some great business moves. Yeah. When you think about that, a player owner, right? When we think like LeBron and KD, they like own some of these other sports teams, entire teams. They're in those buyer groups, right? Like he owns a pro shop. He's in ownership of a pro shop.
It's just that next, I don't know what to call it, but it's just that next like indicator of disc golf is moving in that direction of that elite level spectator sport where those guys that are the entertainers, the guys like Macbeth, the guys like Wysocki, Gannon Burrs, they're getting paid now for what they're good at, and they're being able to invest in the sport. I think that's really cool to see the sport. We're part of that growth, and it's really cool to see it happen.
In real time. Yeah, it's happening right in front of us. It's wild.
Right
and it's growing fast, right? Like I feel like 850 rated now is pretty decent, where 850 6 years ago was laughable. Just from an amateur standpoint, I don't know what it's like being 1,000 rated, but I can imagine the same pressures are there at that level.
And yeah, like you said, in the pro division, it used to be everybody needed to be 1,000 rated, and now it's like you're basically not competitive unless you're like 1020 rated.
1020, 1025, yeah.
But yeah, just backtracking, if you look at Disc Golf Pro Tour events, I always try to check and see where the guys where I feel like my skill level is currently, or what I could do at that event where I would sit. And then when I'm looking around that 1020 average, 1030 average for the event, those guys are finishing like 30th place. They're cashing, but man, that's just wild to me that the level of play is so high now. And that could be like, that jumping up from a 1030 to like a 1050 average could just be like 3 to 5 strokes. And that's just how competitive it is now. Even at the pro level, it's just amazing. And
Austin Hannum was another example this year. Such a great player with one of the best forehands in the game. Finished outside of the top 25 quite a bit. Missed cash quite a bit this season.
Yeah, he and then another player that comes
for
to
him,
mind.
We expect him to sort of be in the cash. But man, like you're saying, the field is just so good now.
Yeah, no, and that's a great example. He himself and like Zacharias Johnson, one of my best friends,
another good forehand.
Great forehand player, really great backhand, just all around solid game. And he himself miscast on a few events this year. He struggled, and he's a completely good player. That guy would mop the course with me any day of the week, and that just shows how competitive and how hard the courses are on tour.
In just such a short amount of time.
In just a short amount of time. I mean, you got guys that are 17 years old winning the United States Disc Golf Championship, and we've seen that before with Will Schustrick. But in a competitive, it just shows how competitive it is now that. The youth are in it. And
you bring up that comparison, Gannon Burr and Will Schustrick. That's actually not a bad comparison. Very young, they were very mature. Like, there's no way Bad Chad was that mature at 17.
I couldn't have done that for sure. And I think back to I think about this a lot, and I think disc golf gives a youth an opportunity to mature at a quicker rate. And I'm not sure if it's like a significantly big rate, but I think disc golf gives people a sense of ownership. It's a single player game at the end of the day, and kids and just all players in general have a code of ethics they have to learn. There's rules they have to learn, and they have to take responsibility. And I think that just gives the youth an opportunity to grow up. And guys like Gannon Burr, that grow up in the sport, they're able to take the sport by the reins and take that pressure and be mature in those moments and take those big victories.
Mm-hmm.
And disc golf is great that way,
Yeah, just being an individual sport. So you've actually played some college sports, haven't you? You were a quarterback?
Yeah, I was a college quarterback. I played at the D1 AA level and transferred over to the D2 level. Ended up at Missouri Southern State University. That's where I ended up graduating from.
Wow.
Played some football over there.
So but as a team sport, right, like some of the guys that aren't playing, kind of riding the bench, they're not maturing, right? So when you throw a 17-year-old into an individual sport, they're accelerating and maturing at a much higher level, just like you mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Reps matter when it comes to mental reps. Just having to be responsible. And then the physical
taking
reps.
Blame for your bad shots.
Yeah, and that's something that I know I've struggled with. It's easy to blame the wind. It's easy to blame the conditions. At the end of the day, that disc is in your hands before you let it go. And so after you let it go, it's out of your hands, literally. So, you have to take ownership for the moments that you're in control, for sure.
And then learning to give yourself grace once it's left the hand.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, once you let go, it's out of your hands.
So you can't do nothing about it then except laugh at how bad it kicks off 3 trees and goes out of bounds for the third time.
No.
Oh.
On hole 16 at Middle Lake.
Yeah. I've taken some
You guys
sixes
love
there.
that hole, man.
Oh, I hate it. It's love-hate. It's
terrible.
either a 2 or a 6
Oh,
for
it's
me.
so frustrating.
Yeah.
I think the
That's
worst
great.
was
So
11
short.
for me.
Like, why is it so hard? It's between the ears, right? Between these headphones, it's like all mental.
To me, it's a classic. I grew up, in the sport playing disc golf monkey tournaments. That's where I played my first tournaments. And Russell Burns, the disc golf monkey himself, he designs almost every course that you use for his tournaments. And you're guaranteed to have many holes that are just like hole 16, just like Meadow Lake in general.
Just mean.
It's just mean holes. Like, they're just right there, but it requires speed control and smart decision making and good putting. Touch. Yeah, especially on
Which
hole
takes
16.
years to develop, and it's really frustrating when you don't have it.
For sure. That's what keeps us coming back.
Shout out Russell. Shout out Russell Burns, disc golf monkey.
Yeah, he's a Missouri Hall of Famer. He needs to be an all-time PDGA Hall of Famer for sure. Well, so, like I said about the Nikko situation, it's all opinions, and at the end of the day, it's Lone Star's decision, and
Their money, their decision.
They're just making a marketing move, and I completely understand it. And I come from my career-wise, job-wise, I come from a behavior management type background, working with individuals that have issues with their behavior and stuff like that. And I kind of, when I talk to my wife about it, we talk about how the positive reinforcement there might not be good for Nikko. It might be a little soon. He might not have had an opportunity to grow in a sense, to learn, to maybe just have
It's
an opportunity.
interesting that everyone makes it seem like it's only a second chance. Like, he'll have time to grow and learn. And this is several instances of Nikko being Nikko.
Yeah, and then there's that take.
He tried to get a physical altercation with a foreign official on foreign soil. I guess maybe it hits a little different, hits a little harder on me. It just looks bad.
Why?
All around.
Why?
Oh, we all saw it in real time.
Yeah.
The commentators, the way that they reacted, the way that everybody reacted. It wasn't
Step
pretty.
away from me.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. We all saw it. We know it. So, what it just at the end of the day.
I guess my question is, at what point do we quit making excuses for his behavior and hold him accountable? Long term, not 6 months of an off season. 3 of it's an off season.
I think it's just, unfortunately, like a lot of things, I just think once that line is crossed, that nobody really knows what's going to happen when the line just has to be crossed. And then it's like, damn, now we have to make a decision after something happens.
Yeah, it is kind of a newer thing too, right? Like you didn't see Barry Schultz like threatening officials back in the day. We just really haven't. We just really haven't seen this. Now we've seen it in other professional sports, and the fines get pretty stiff. The suspension's not as stiff, but I mean the money's not here, so they couldn't just really penalize him financially.
Correct. Yeah, that's a great point, and that's something that's not really talked about a lot. Is there is the comparison of in other sports, so and so did this, and they didn't even get a single second of penalty.
That's a different sport.
With it. Exactly, it's a different sport, and they probably got hit with a fine from within the franchise or from the management in general.
Lots of insurance money, probably a players' union.
Right.
Lots of securities there. Where this wasn't even in an NBA stadium. This was on foreign soil.
Yeah, and you know we don't know if Gateway or Clash or whoever all was representing him at the time, if they had anything in their contract for his behavior, any restitutions that he would have to
that's
come forth
interesting.
with.
I wonder if Lone Star made any kind of adjustment to the contract like that, because it was a multiple year contract. Would they say, okay, if year one works out?
Yeah, like almost a probational year or something.
Sort of, yeah. But no, we saw him. I scan the groups right on Facebook. I'm scanning Reddit. I'm scanning places for all of this news, and they just saw him 2 days before the news broke, which would have been yesterday, Thursday, November 9th. They spotted him just outside of Conroe, Texas, which Lone Star's in Conroe, and he still had the Gateway and Clash discs emblemage on his van. Yeah. So it's interesting. He still has their name on his van while he's signing ink in Conroe.
That is, I saw that and I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't even know
So has he really changed, or is he just jumping to the next branch?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have room to talk myself because I've definitely jumped from, I've been with multiple companies, but he definitely is very, he jumps from, company to company, and he takes as many opportunities as he can. He's a businessman in that sense. And hopefully, one sticks with him and he finds that big contract that, he's been looking for that thing for years. He's that guy forever, that was just passionately wanting that big contract, but, never just landed it. And I know that he's probably got some sour attitude about the sport in that general, maybe that he feels deserved in a way.
And just to put it out there for everyone, I am not a Nikko hater. I am just jumping on the low-hanging fruit here as a personality on the internets, but I'm rooting for him to get his shit together. I've interacted with him personally at the 2017 GBO. Him and Drew Gibson, they all seemed cool. Philo Brathwaite was there. He seemed really cool. Everyone was chill off the course. I know that there's sort of a switch that flips, right, when you step into that Sunday meal ticket mode. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're not there to make friends.
Yeah, I mean, Nikko and I are friends. We're both Missouri boys. We know each other on a first name basis. We're homies. And off the course, he's Nikko. I can talk. I can be straight up with him and tell him what I think. When it comes to the sport, like in the moment, stuff like that, the guy's a gamer. The guy's competitive, and he might need somebody to keep him in check here and there. And we know that's the truth. And at the end of the day, that's just how it is. I mean, off the course, like you said, he's a good guy. On the course, I mean, he has his quirks, and sometimes you need to be kept in check. And he's just one of those guys that it just tends to be that situation. And he's a guy that doesn't like to be kept in check. And that's something that's the controversial part of it.
I can get on board with that. I don't like being told what to do by my parents, by my government, by anyone, really.
Yep. He's a guy that lives in the moment. I mean, whether he's on the course or off the course, he lives in the moment. And at the same time, he's a big dreamer. And so, you just kind of like, you can't catch him.
You mentioned sort of having a handler, and we're sort of getting to that point in the sport where we're seeing multi-dimensional caddies, we're seeing player agents, we're seeing a combination of all of it. Do you think he could benefit from that?
Yeah, Nikko's a guy that 100%, and he might have this already, but he definitely needs a mentor, somebody in his corner to help him make the big decisions and just help him just with the business side of it in general. And that includes social media. That includes, what he's wearing when he's out and about, making his appearances, and just in general, just as a player for sure, I think he would definitely benefit. And I know that would like trickle into his personal life because, disc golf is such a personal experience and it's kind of hard to hide your true self.
Yeah.
In a sport like this.
Well, you are your brand. I think we've hit on this. Like, you are the agent. You are the personality. You are the guy dressing yourself. You're the guy doing hot takes when you shouldn't be. Like, you are the brand.
Yeah, a guy that does it well is Drew Gibson. He does that well. He is his brand, and he doesn't hold back for the most part. But it's clear that he also has somebody that's assisting him with his marketing.
He is one of Scanzarelli's new players on his agency. Yeah. He has a player agency now.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. He. I don't know Steven at all, really. Just Facebook friendly.
Scans.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, Scans, and yeah, he seems to do a really good job with whatever he's doing with the players that are under his wing. So
was he at Prodigy when you were at Prodigy?
No, I guess technically when I went back to Prodigy after Westside for that short little stint there before I decided to support the local guys at Full Turn.
Yeah,
Scans was there. I'm not sure in what sense, but he was a Prodigy guy for sure in that time. And now since then, I think
he's moved
now. Like man, I think he's like maybe a trilogy guy now, maybe Discmania.
No.
I'm not even sure.
So I think he likes a lot of Discraft.
Discraft. Yeah, that's what it was.
But he moved to, I want to say Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
He was the guy that had like his own private course on his lawn. He had a really big property.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the guy.
He has all the blue in his bag. He's a blue disc guy.
He's got the wall hangers all blue and full foil. He's got a lot of Discraft, I think, is what he's on.
Cool. Well, did you guys know that there's live disc golf this weekend?
What? Because the season's already started?
The season has already begun.
For 2023.
I know. We're sitting here in November 2022. And the Disc Golf Pro Tour season has kicked off already.
Reminds me of the year they did Worlds in June.
That's wild.
But whatever. So, what do you think about that? How now I know you work out, take care of your body through the season, but what do you think of such a short turnaround, such a short off season?
I think I've always thought disc golf's a year-long sport. If anybody ever asked me, I'd say it's a year-long sport. And I used to say that the season ran from March 1st to end of October, and now that's changed clearly. Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe the new season starts in October, because I always said there was an off season, but now there's not an off season. But at the end of it, I guess what I'm getting at is I think it's a full-time sport all year long. You have opportunities to play it, and just my experience at Worlds, my body was hurting after that tournament. There was a really, really long throws every day, every hole for the most part. And so I can definitely see players getting injured, getting fatigued, and really wanting breaks and really wanting a true off season. Yeah. But for the guys that like to play silver series events and more regional type guys, I think it's great to have the season rolling on, continuing. And then, like I said, that the main entertainment is a certain time of year, and we look forward to those people that are literally, their job is to be the entertainers on the biggest stage. And so I'm glad that they take care of themselves so that we can be entertained. Because I am a huge fan of live disc golf. I don't even watch any post-production, to be honest. Sorry to the Joe Mez guy, sorry to Central Coast and all those. I love all of them, and I will watch whenever there's something special, but I like live disc golf, and that's pretty much all I watch. So I'm super excited for the new World Championship this weekend.
We were streaming Disc Golf Network at USGGC, so we knew as the players were walking up on the holes what all the cheering was about. It was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, real time.
That's great. You got to see history being made.
So you're talking about potential injuries from such a short off season and so much use on the players' bodies. Is there anything these players are doing supplement-wise, creatine, anything to reduce injuries?
I know players are definitely taking protein. They're trying to keep their muscle mass on throughout the year, because that's always something. It's hard to maintain lifting and throwing as much as possible. And so I definitely know that there's players out there taking protein and staying supplemented with that. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they were taking any sort of amino acid supplements, whether it be a beverage or anything like that. And it's always great to combat fatigue and combat just muscle strains, and just be able to get right back to it the next day. And I know that they're hitting up the Disc Golf Strong Seth Munsey tent. He's taking care of those guys. Without question, you can walk up to him. If you're a tour card holder, if you're a pro tour player, if you can walk up to him, he will take care of you. He's the trainer on tour, and he took care of me at Worlds. He got me through that tournament.
Yeah.
And so I truly hope that the Disc Golf Pro Tour promotes him to the players, and they know that they can use him, because he's a great resource.
It's not yoga. It's Disc Golf Strong.
That's for sure. Yeah, and it is quirky. It is quirky. We've all seen the videos. We've seen Eagle.
No, it works.
Eagle stuff, but it works. It is very focused on the smaller muscles. That's what I've learned from Seth and my experiences with him, is that our big muscles do a lot of work, and our little muscles have to work a little harder when those big muscles get tired, when we're working so hard out there. And then so his main focus is keeping those smaller muscles strong, so they don't end up getting hurt whenever the big muscles get tired. And so that's why his exercises don't look very high intense. They don't look very strenuous. They're just more focused on core, balance, and just strength over time.
Some of the smaller really muscle groups, some supporting muscle groups.
Yep, complementary
muscles. A lot
muscles.
of core strength.
Yeah, core and balance. Big thing in disc golf. We all know that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys know that. We're AMs. Oh, wait, no. Oh, there we go.
Well, if you're an amateur out there and you want a quick tip, balance, posture, whether it be putting, whether it be sidearm, backhand, anything you're doing, your posture is one of the most important things. You want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success from the get-go. You can't throw a disc in the right direction if your body's looking at the ground or straight up in the air. So just keep that in mind.
That's good tips.
Yep.
Pro tips with Kyle Webster. Also, my sidearm's getting better. I watched your sidearm video. Just for years, it was trash, and then I watched one Kyle Webster video on YouTube, and then now I can get out to about 300 foot with a forehand.
Hey, that's great to hear, like big time, and I appreciate you watching the video. I think, forehand, for me, the moment I figured it out, it was like a Christmas present, man, because like I know every player wants a forehand. It's like, let's be real, like it's that shot that everybody tries, and it usually doesn't work very well right away.
Unless
and
they're
people give up
transferring from baseball.
Yeah, and that's literally I had to basically be taught how to throw a baseball, because I was a quarterback. I was throwing a football, and it's a different form,
mechanics,
and different mechanics. And but once Zacharias Johnson, taught me how to throw, we went out into a field and we literally just played catch with a Firebird. We just played catch, and he literally taught me to throw it to him, like spin it to me, like throw it to me like a ball, and we ended up playing catch. And then later on, my wife Audrey, who is a forehand specialist herself, she
Really
taught
good
me
forehand.
how to. She's so good, and she taught me how to commit, how to follow through the same every time, how to hit gaps, and how to just mainly follow through. And then between Zach teaching me the motion of just throwing, and then Audrey's tips on following through, that combination, that aha moment finally happened where I was like, oh my gosh, I know how to throw forehand every time. And I want every player to have that aha moment. And, it's such a hard thing to learn. The mechanics are super finicky, but once you're able to replicate it every time, it's like, it's effortless. It's like riding a bike. It shouldn't be hard to do it.
Now, if I could just fix being left-handed.
Yeah, I haven't figured out. I tried to fix Clemens for years. I tried to get him off that left hand. He said, screw it. And I guess he figured it out,
He's got it all figured out now.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait a second. Wasn't he one of the all-star snubs? One of the highest ranking players in the country. Did he get snubbed or did he make it?
Oh, he didn't. I didn't see his name.
Yeah, he's one of the highest rated snubs. Highest ranked snubs. Yeah.
Clemens is one of those guys. He's not as present, I guess, in the media as, some of the other players. I mean, he is
That's so weird just from
in the world.
Right, just from a left-handed, like I know of him. Like I follow him.
Right, yeah, the lefties know who he is, and that's always fun. The lefties have somebody to look up to because it's rare. But yeah, like I said, he's never really been like big in the spotlight, even though he is like disc or who's he play for? Dynamic disc. He's like their top player right now on the guy side.
Pretty good, yeah.
And I would definitely love to see more promotion of Chris for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, they just dropped his
So that way-
mission rig bag.
His bag is super cool.
Hell yeah, great to hear.
Well, man, we didn't mean to prank call you. I knew you couldn't make it tonight. You had some things going on, but we decided to do it anyway. Sorry about that.
Man, I love to hear you guys' voices for sure. Right, and it's always fun to talk disc golf. Obviously, you got me rolling like a snowball downhill.
Let's do it.
Just knock me at that point. Yeah.
Stick a carrot in it. Wait, don't do that.
Right.
And that's the show.
And that's the show. All right, buddy. Well, we're going to hang up on you now and close her out, and we'll do another one next week.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good night.
All right, peace.
Later.
Bye-bye.
We didn't even talk to him about the lid tournament.
Oh, shit. Call him back. That's funny. Sorry. Throwback is coming up November 20th. Joplin, Missouri.
Missouri.
Yep.
2 rounds of...
I did not know it was a costume tournament.
Yeah, I didn't either. Until you told me yesterday.
So probably just going to have to go as Luke Highwalker. Just my regular pinch bag with I have a stuffed owl at home that kind of looks like Yoda. I don't know what to do. That's all I got. But that's it, guys. That's our episode. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching Bad Chat. If they want to get a hold of you, how could they get a hold of you?
Come on down to 1012 The Owl.
And if you want to get a hold of Kaiser, join the Enid Disc Golf Club.
Disc Golf Club on Facebook.
But also don't call him.
But you can also meet him at Settlers.
Yeah, but don't approach him. Or make eye contact.
All right. That's
Chapman. Oh, you almost got out of here without telling us how people can learn more about cheese.
Cheese, you can go to my defunct YouTube channel, link down below.
Yeah, why are we still linking to it?
We'll see you guys.
Peace.
Later.